been a few days, just been real busy. Past couple of them. Had to help the store because they are at a con this weekend, so had to drive down and just help them out while they're trying to pack everything, poor souls. But it wasn't the first con I've been to. It was like the third or fourth. So they kind of got it down. But anyway, and sorry for all the eating noises. I am eating. It is Saturday after work, which means I treat myself to Wendy's, which means Frosties and fries and just glorious deliciousness. Though I am trying to eat better. I'm so sorry, but you cannot keep Wendy's away from me. I'm sorry. As soon as they opened up one, like a block away from my job, I'm like, oh no, there goes my diet. Anyway, sorry. 1 second. Okay. Again, sorry for all the noises. They won't last too long. But currently, I've listened to a couple people and their responses to the RC stepping down. And honestly, a lot of people are in agreement with most things, which I think I noted before. But I listened to the Command Zone with Jimmy, Josh, and Rachel, along with the professors, the EDH cast, and a couple other people too. And they all seem to say or feel the same way, that obviously it going into WOTC's hands is not the best scenario, and that the tier system is pretty sus. So that was good. But I am I'm not super shocked, but I was very happy to hear just how level-headed Josh was about it. Like, you know, he stated it quite clear. It's like, of course I don't agree or am happy with anything of the harassment that happened to the RC, of course. But we all have to sit here and take a step back and look at, how did we get here? How did the RC get there? Which is exactly what I was saying in my last video. Which is like, if they didn't make these rash decisions, or what seemed to be rash decisions, people probably wouldn't have exploded as much. Which means, that doesn't mean it'll stop the harassment. They'll get harassment no matter what. But maybe it wouldn't have been as bad, meaning they wouldn't have been harassed, meaning they wouldn't have stepped down, meaning it wouldn't, things would have been in such turmoil now. So he was very clear that he was obviously not okay with the harassment, but very much disappointed in the RC. Not only for the bands being rushed, but for the absolute fact that they just stepped down. He, like I did, was just like, why didn't you just ask someone else to do it? Y'all don't want to do it anymore, that's fine. Just ask someone else. And that's when he said, see, I wouldn't do it. And I was like, dang it. I was hoping he would want to be in it. But, yeah, so he was monumentously based on it. And, it does make me happy to see that for sure. That, me and him feel the same way. But like your opinions are validated in a way. But also, Rachel seemed to be the most contentious about it. And I mean, barely. All of them were basically agreeing on the same things. But she was like, I want the bands to stay. But she also admits, there's a good chance they won't. So I think she did a good job there. And I was surprised a bit by Jimmy, who, in the past has kind of been, I don't know what you call it, but he kind of white knights for victims, which is fine. That's not a terrible thing to be. But he was actually agreeing with Josh and saying, not to say that they weren't victims, because they totally were. Apparently the level of harassment was nuts. But that we should look at the situation and see, okay, did they put themselves in this situation? I'm like, oh, Jimmy, are you actually using your noodle? Are you just not victim protecting? Or I don't know what you'd call it, but I was surprised by that for sure. Happily surprised that he was very level-headed about that as well. Then he started saying oh, we need to validate everyone's emotions and say that they're okay. And I'm like, nah, let's not get too crazy now. It's okay, Jimmy, I understand, but let's not get too crazy. Oh. So yeah. Oh my God, please. Okay. So that surprised me, and I was glad to hear that. The professor's take was okay, understandable. He did more of the protecting, but he made some statements that I guess helps us understand the situation more, which is he knew, or he had inside information on just how bad the harassment was. And he said, yeah, I've had phone calls. Yeah, I've had people know where my address is. Yeah, I've had death threats. But the level that the RC got was 10 times worse. And when they said that they needed to protect their families by stepping down, that was it was absolutely necessary for them to do so. So, and I trust that the professor isn't exaggerating by any means. While he didn't go oh, well, we got to talk about why the RC, we got to talk about why things got to the point they were the command zone did. I mean, making that statement does kind of put it in a bit of perspective, though. Granted, probably Josh and I would be like, okay, you should have talked to WOTC and gone, okay, so we're getting severe, very threatening threats, harassment. Can you guys step in and help? Because, we're basically doing this because of your product, because of your customers. Can you offer us any protection? And then there you go. If they say no, then yeah, fucking skip out, bro. Because if you put someone else in that place and similar shit happens, because you never know, yeah, I wouldn't do that to someone else either. I would have just said, fuck this whole thing. Let's get rid of it, because obviously if there's no protection for it, then, it's, you don't want to get hurt over a goddamn cardboard game, okay? So, I get it now. Even though I have not seen any proof, I do not take the professor to be, again, too much of an exaggerator or a liar. He's a great shill. I'm just kidding. He is a great shill, but, I know that in his heart he does things because he wants to, because he believes it's the best. I don't think he has an evil bone in his body. So, that's all that came together. And also the EDH Rec podcast, they were also really level-headed about it as well. And they made some great points, which I kind of wanted to go over separately. But let's see here in between my fries. Yeah. Let's see, what did I put here? I don't know what my notes mean. Oh, I love it because I wrote them down a few days ago. All right. An analogy that the command zone was using, which was a really good one. Excuse me. Or metaphor? I think metaphor is better. Is that when it comes to the commander format, no one really knows exactly what makes it tick. You know, exactly how it works. You know, oddly enough, it's way more of a concept, which apparently a concept is a noun. Okay, an idea is a noun. And that is hidden lore for myself and myself only. But this enigma of what commander is, it's hard to put on paper. So when anyone tries to sit here and say, oh, commander is X, Y, or Z, and everyone can go, maybe it's more X, maybe it's more Y, maybe it's like, I don't know, Q or something, like out of nowhere. But the analogy / metaphor that the command zone put is that we're all in a dark room. You, me, WOTC, the RC, everyone was just in a dark room trying to feel exactly where the hell we are. So some of us are touching like furniture, some of us are touching the wall, some of us are touching a window, you know, someone's touching a door. Like, I don't know, we could be in a living room, we could be in a kitchen, we could be, you know, there's many things. What this thing that we're trying to figure out is could be many things, but none of us know for sure. Hence why he harped on the RC when they said, we believe commanders should stay super casual, so let's ban fast mana. And, you know, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. I mean, you don't have to agree with it, but it was a mistake. Because they were attempting to say what commander was. And that's going to lead pressure now on WOTC, who now they get to figure it out. And I'm pretty sure no one's really going to agree. That's almost for sure. But yeah, I do love that analogy a lot, and I don't know if any of us will ever actually figure out what commander is, but what it definitely isn't a traditional cardboard game format, especially obviously how Magic was intended to play. It is not something based on like what's powerful when in entirety. It partly is, but not entirely. It is a social format because and it's an example that's like posted all the time, which is if you bring like a really powerful deck to the table, and ideally if it's not like turn 2 crazy or something, the rest of the table can gang up on you and you can lose. You could be the first one gone. Hence why it's hard to formulate exactly what do you do? What do you do with this format? Like, and if everyone's on balanced grounds, then who knows who's going out first, you know? It's probably going to be the red or black decks that poke too much. Yeah. So yeah, it's just hard to say exactly, what it is. And then, I wrote down Soul Ring is the commander's Dunning-Kruger. What? I'm silly sometimes when I'm tired at work. I got nuggies. Did I get any sauce for my nuggies? Oh my god, I only got 3 nuggies. Oh my god, this guy in the Corvette can't pass me. Dude, do you have some barbecue sauce, Mr. Corvette? They fucking forgot it. That's it. I'm turning around. Dry nugs. Okay, anyway. But, okay. For anyone that doesn't know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is, think of a chart. So, you have your tall horizontal and your vertical. And then you have this, like, bowl-shaped line. So, think of like a skate rink. So there's a top part and it swoops like a big U, and then it goes up on the top again. Now the horizontal is confidence. So the more confident you are, the higher that line is. Lower confidence would be lower. And then you finally figured it out. And then the horizontal. Sorry. I'm flipping my stuff around. Vertical. Vertical is confidence. That's up and down, right? God damn it, CO. Go back to school. Okay. Vertical. Up and down is confidence. Horizontal, the one that goes flat, is experience or knowledge or whatever you want to call it. And the Dunning-Kruger effect is when people just start out, whether it's a hobby, a subject, and they just learn a little bit of it, they have the highest confidence in that subject. Like, they know it all. They've only seen a part, but they believe they know it all, hence why it's so up. But the further they get along in understanding and learning about a subject, they figure out that they actually know very little. Even though they're learning more, they find out that they're learning less and less, hence why the confidence just starts to dip. And then, of course, after such enough time, you start to understand more and more and more about the subject, which then will lead your confidence again. But I need to make a distinction that your confidence will never be as high as when you just started out. Your true masters will know that there's no such thing as completely mastering anything. You could get close, but you're not going to get it fully. So that is the Dunning-Kruger effect, essentially. So when I say, or write down to myself, Soul Ring is the Dunning-Kruger of Commander, what I mean to say is, or what I think I meant to say, is that I don't know, actually. I'm trying to figure out a way that would make sense. And I guess because you could reverse it. Either if you like Soul Ring or if you dislike Soul Ring, the Dunning-Kruger effect will work. It'll just work in opposite directions. So say you get it, Soul Ring is like, wow, it's so powerful, it's so cool, I love it. And then the more you play with it, the more like, oh my god, it goes in every deck, it's so boring, whoever gets it, just gets piled on, oh my god, this is stupid, get it out. And then you play with it like you play Commander like all the time, and you're like, I don't know, you just like, yeah, it's a good card. I take it out of my decks, but it's a good card. Like, you're not upset about it anymore, it just is what it is. Hence why they won't ban it. If the RC won't ban it, WOTC won't ban it. It is here forever, baby. So yeah, I think that's what I meant. And of course, like, oh, I hate Soul Ring, it's so bad, and then you play it and you're like, oh my god, it's so good, it's so powerful, and then you just be like, meh. So it's not necessarily like the Dunning-Kruger, but kind of. Alright. What else I got in here? I got... excuse me. When it comes to, like, the rulings or the bannings or whatever, however we want to set up Commander, I think those are best, obviously, for understanding how to play. And I'm not talking about, like, turn order and the stack and stuff. I'm talking about generalities. Like, I'm sitting a new person down and teaching them how to not only play Magic, but play Commander. Those are the rules I'm talking about, okay? Those are specifically for new people. Because once you get it, you get it. It's singleton format. You get one legendary creature, colors all, the deck colors all matching that creature, blah, 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 blah. And then you go in the turn orders like this. But when you start, I guess it's just ripping into WOTC's stupid tier thing. It's like when you start saying, okay, but now that you've put, you have this deck, ideally a precon, and you sit down and try to learn to play, and it's like, oh, well, make sure that everyone else is playing a precon. Otherwise, because they're playing in these tiers. You see these tiers or buy these cards, and it's too much. It's too much, okay? And another thing is, for the now dead rules committee is that, well, they're trying to kill fast mana because it's ruining casual games. And while I can definitely see, like, if you, like, end the game on turn 4 or 5, and a newbie who's, like, maybe seen a game once goes, whoa, that was fast. It might not be the best experience, but it's not going to completely turn them off, or at least I don't think so. And I'm pretty sure you could give the, like, craziest, well, honestly, if you give the craziest deck to a new player, they're not going to know what the hell to do with it. But say you get a really consistent deck, and a newbie who's, like, picking up really well at it, and pilot it okay, I still think 3 other experienced players with precons that don't even need to gang up on them, maybe it's a one-on-one, like, the more experienced person is going to be able to beat the newbie almost all the time. The deck can only carry you so much, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know, we keep the fast stuff in. How often is a new player going to get a hold of that? It's when whatever this player is, like, not a brand new player, remember, like, they know what the game is, they know how to play, generally, and they're getting into it. They're playing multiple games, maybe like once a week, at the very least, or something. They're becoming more of an experienced player. That's when that person can start noticing, whoa, there's a lot of powerful cards that I could upgrade my precon with, and they start putting in more, and that's when you could introduce this tier thing or whatever that really matters. Especially when they're going to play more and more and more and understand that there are cards that are more and more busted. So that's where that should come in. It should not be something you print on the box for newbies to figure out, okay? Ain't gonna happen, shouldn't happen. And I mean, on that note, newbies shouldn't be building decks anyway. So, and you're not going to put you're not going to put Jeweled Lotus in a precon, right? You're not going to do that, right? So the newer players aren't going to play it anyway. It's going to be upgrades for people almost all the time. And again, brand new people shouldn't be making their own decks. I do have a friend, though, that she just started playing, and, like, she's like, this is fun. I'm going to make my own deck. We did give her a precon, so she does have that, but she's like, I'm going to build my own deck. I'm like, okay. I'll do my best to help you out, but I don't want to sit here and tell you what to do. I'll make suggestions and explain why I have those opinions, and she's built 2, she wants to build 20. Okay, I mean, hey, I love, like, I've spent at least 3 times, what am I trying to say here? I have spent 3 times as much time, yes, building decks than I have playing. I have spent way, way more time building decks than I have playing. So, like, I get it. Excuse me. I get it. But newbies shouldn't be building decks anyway. So that's just another thing where the fast mana is like, but why? But why, though? I got some more here. Hold on. I put it on the wrong page, too. Yeah, this was during the EDA trick where they're, someone was saying, like, well, I trust WOTC that they're going to do, they said they're going to keep the community in, and I believe it, and, Gavin is going to do his best, and, as long as, he does have he has some bosses that might be mad, but he's going to do his best. And someone's just like, just looking at him, are you serious right now? Like, you really trust WOTC? You really? Like, I can understand trusting the people. Like, I can understand trusting Gavin the person, but not the whatever of WOTC that he is. Like, he's still no. That's not how it's gonna work. And in my mind, I wrote down, just doing my job, Gavin, which is basically, he can have all the best intentions in the world. It will not matter. The real people that make the decisions that he will be in lock and step with are the shareholders, is WOTC himself. Like, they are, I put it as shareholders, bitch. He is not going to go against the grain hard, if at all. He can say what he wants, and it's not, again, not that he's a liar, but he's in this corporation, and that's what corporations do. They're supposed to only make money. While companies can possibly do something else than make money, corporations are just for making money. That's all they're there for. Well, at least WOTC. Yeah, at least WOTC, at least Hasbro, whomever you want to put as the, contender, because as the person in the Retcast was going on with, like, don't forget about, the AI art that they were going to put in there. Don't forget about them approving stolen art, printing it on cards. Like, oh, whoops. And, for anyone who's into D&D, don't ever let them or yourself forget when they tried to say everything you did within their game is copyrighted by them. Don't ever let that shit leave your brain. And did any of us, was any of us around last year with Magic 30 coming out? And you want to sit here and say you trust that company? You trust them? Holy cow, bro. I don't know if you've got the biggest balls or the emptiest brain, but it's like, yeah, good Lord. Yeah. Everyone is in agreement that WOTC having control, it probably isn't the best idea, but it is what it is now. And we'll just see. We'll just see what happens when it comes to that. And that's kind of curving on to my last point here, which is, I know, like, the RC banning certain cards, it rustled Jimmy's for sure, as it should have, I believe. But I didn't see Commander really dying, from any certain bans. However, I'm sitting here thinking it out in my brain. If WOTC continues with this absolutely ridiculous idea of the tier system, which, I really hope most people just sit and think about it for a second and realize just how stupid it is. Base it on cards, and everyone is going to have a tier 3 deck. Everyone's going to have a tier 3 deck with X amount of tier 4 cards, or whatever they end up naming them, but that's what it's going to turn into, because that's what it is now. Everyone's deck is a 7. They just happen to run, all the tutors, all the ramp. It's so stupid. And apparently they're going to say they're going to have something ready to go by Vegas, which is really soon. Everyone's like pressing X to doubt that for sure. And I just hope they don't rush it. Don't rush it. Sit and think about it. Commander's okay right now. I mean, you could do some unbannings, but seriously, just sit on your hands for a nice good while and get off of your hands and start touching things in this dark room. Figure it out before you start putting in crap like that, bro. Because that is just the worst idea. I can't believe this was a collaborative thing between the RC and WOTC. Like, what were y'all fucking smoking? Like, who thought this is a good idea? So I really hope they don't implement it. Okay, and this is why I'm starting to see, like, the the doom signs, the black pilling a little bit on this is because say they implement this stupid ass system, this retarded ass, dumbass, fake ass system. And now I have to sit there and explain it to new players. Or, you know, maybe a new person comes into the shop and wants to play and they're like, hey, what tier deck you're playing? And all of us just like shrug our shoulders like, we don't use that shit system. And of course the new player is going to feel bad because they were told to work in this frame to build within these cards, and we're just going to poo-poo it because we don't want to. We don't care. Granted, of course, we don't care if they play. That person can come play with us, but that person might feel slighted because our decks might be crazy all over the place with tier 4 cards or whatever, and theirs weren't. And then, of course, they're going to, especially if they don't have a good time, they're going to blame it on, us for not following the rules. And that is when people stop playing the game. When some people have rules that they go by and others don't. And yeah, and again, it's like sitting and explaining it to new players, like, oh my God, please don't. Because I'm not going to follow it. I'm sorry. People want to talk about it. I'm just going to say, hey, I don't follow that tier shit. My deck is meant to copy my commander, which steals your things. But it's a 6-drop commander in blue. So you figure it out, bro. That's my deck. That's what it does. It generally just, it has some fun. It takes a couple of things and that's about it, okay? That's what it do. I make copies and everything too. I don't always have to steal, but it's in no way super strong, but a pre-release might, or pre-con might have trouble. I don't know. It's a 7. It's a 7. Oh, man. But yeah, so those are my notes. And we'll just see. I guess no big news unless they do a unbanning for whatever reason. And, or until MagicCon Las Vegas. And, oh, that was stupid. Oh, the wind knocked it over. So yeah, we will definitely see, and I'll just have to pick my brain on it some more. But just for some closing notes, I uploaded a video of me doing like my own like rip stream for Pokemon cards. I don't know, like what it is. It is a worm that has taken over my brain. Like I have just gone to sleep and woken up, the few hours I get, just thinking about doing rip and chips and selling singles. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? I already got 2 damn jobs, bro. But it's just, I get captured like this with many, like I did it, I think I've explained the story once with dog grooming. Like, I don't even like grooming my own dog. Why the hell am I sitting here thinking, oh, I gotta buy the tables, and then I gotta get the leashes, and then like, why? So I know it's one of these ideas where I'm gonna get bored of it in like a few weeks. But I entertain the idea anyway, and basically if I get a little bit of it out, then I can say I did it, and then think about it, and then hopefully, if I follow through with it, awesome, great. It would be fun. It would be fun to stream, do some rip and ships for people, opening my own stuff on camera, and just hang. I would love that. I would. Very true, much true. But as far as like putting time and effort into it, I got to put time and effort into other things right now. So I mean, I'm basically what I'm doing is I'm giving myself a deadline till my birthday, which is in like 6 months, so half a year. If I save up, get my stuff paid off that needs to get paid off, and I can save up enough to start that project, and I don't do any other projects, go for it, honey. It might be a stupid idea, but I worked that long for it, then I should do it. Which is kind of what I did with my garden, to be fair, which that is just a disaster. I don't know what's wrong with me. But anyway, so I posted like an example of what I would do. It was very bare bones. Like, I scrapped things together. I literally had no clue what to do or what I wanted, and then 2-3 hours later I was streaming. Well, not streaming, but I recorded it. So if you want to see that, go for it. I don't know. It's basically just for me to see. But yeah, that was just an interesting thing that I may or may not do. Who knows, bro? But bills and stuff have to come first. Yeah, so thanks again for listening to my rambly rants. And I don't know. Maybe I'll have some more thoughts about other things than Commander. Because no joke, I'm just getting a little burned out, okay? Just a little burned out. I have like my hit. Like, some months are just like magic. Like, I'm buying all the packs, I'm going to the pre-release, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then other months I'm like, magic who? Which is why it's so hard for me to like be like expert at fucking anything, because I have like I have a drawn out OCD or ODD, I don't know what you want to call it, brain. It's not like a butterfly and I'm instantly distracted. It's like, a butterfly, I want to catch butterflies and I want to study butterflies. Okay, I'm going to buy a bunch of books about butterflies. I'm going to look up stuff about butterflies. I'm going to become a butterfly. Oh, look, it's a snail. I'm going to look into what a snail is. Like, I don't know. But that is just who I am. I am way old enough to know exactly who I am, at least with that stuff, so. Oh yeah. And again, I hope WOTC just takes chill. Can we all just breathe? Let's just at least for the next few weeks, please, because we've got another pre-release coming up for Foundations. Oh boy, can't wait. Let's revitalize that standard, baby, because we all know that's gonna happen. Alrighty, guys. Take care.